also discussed today our needs in air defense and in additional cooperation with our neighbors. We can see how in the Middle East they can defend the lives of people, in particular because of the unity of allies. The joint downing of Iranian missiles does not differ from a joint downing of Russian missiles, even more so regarding Shaheeds that unite Russia and Iranian regimes. For yet another meeting in Ramstein format, and there we will discuss also this victory plan, and I want to discuss it with our partners. And I want to remind that Ramstein unites more than 50 countries, all those who truly efficiently support the defense of Ukraine during the course of the war. Moscow has to receive a clear signal that guaranteed security for Ukraine and for all of Europe is inevitable, just as a right of each democratic nation in Europe to define the future for itself. We have also discussed today our needs in air defense and in additional cooperation with our neighbors. We can see how in the Middle East they can defend the lives of people, in particular because of the unity of allies. The joint downing of Iranian missiles does not differ from a joint downing of Russian missiles, even more so regarding Shaheeds that unite Russia and Iranian regimes. So more decisiveness from the partnership in our region is what's needed to put an end to Russian terror. We will continue to persuade our partners regarding the need to jointly down Russian missiles and drones, and we count on discussing this decision a lot. And before this winter, it is important to realize, to implement all agreements reached during the last NATO summit in Washington regarding the air defense systems for Ukraine. Ukraine is focusing on certain aspects. As regards NATO, now we are focused on Ukraine getting invited to NATO in the first place. That is a very important step. It is hard to achieve, but we focus on this result. We will do everything to get this. The second thing is weaponry. First and foremost, air defenses. The bringing the decision enacted in Washington regarding provision of the air defense systems, Patriots and SAMP-T. So we do all in our capacity to get everything that was agreed during this summit and other systems. As regards the cooperation with the allies, we are working with them, but for now they are not ready. And why are we so persistent regarding the usage of long-range weaponry? Without certain equipment, we cannot stop Russian Federation, which is using the respective weaponry against us. It's destroying everything, and when it destroys the positions of our warriors, the warriors need to save their lives, because they are way more important than any buildings, and because they are our citizens, and because they are our people. Therefore, we are asking to give us opportunity to defend ourselves from Russia, to give us weaponry, to give us permission, to give us systems. Can we stop Russia without that? As of today, this is one of the ways to strengthen Ukraine, a real way to strengthen Ukraine. I don't want to get too much in depth on which other weaponry we need. The partners know all that, they have all this information. As regards the Middle East, I cannot say that this or that tragedy or war distracts. That would be simply not just to speak this way, because of the threats in other parts of the world, in other continents. That is a great sorrow, the shellings, the fact that there are no massive murders and that the missiles were destroyed. Thanks God. that it happened this way. Thanks God there are allies who defended the people in Israel.
But this is my first time here as NATO Secretary General. And it was important to me that I come to Ukraine at the start of my mandate to make crystal clear to you, to the people of Ukraine, and to everyone watching, that NATO stands with Ukraine. As the new NATO Secretary General, it is my priority and my privilege to take this support forward, working with you to ensure that Ukraine prevails. Volodymyr, allies also have agreed to a financial pledge with a baseline of 40 billion euros worth of military aid within a year, and a commitment to review this level of support every year so that Ukraine has what it needs to prevail. And this is basically building the bridge to NATO membership for Ukraine. I think the day will come that Ukraine is a full member of NATO. And let me add to that, if somebody might think otherwise, that Russia on this issue has no vote and no veto. On your other issue of allies to shoot down Russian missiles, I think that was your question. Of course, shooting down drones or missiles violating Allied territory are, of course, decisions for the national authorities. NATO has already significantly reinforced its air defenses on the eastern flank. And we recognize fully the right of every ally to protect its own airspace. And of course, this is also an issue for NATO as a whole. And this is why allies are continuing to consult closely when these situations arise. And NATO authorities, I can assure you, will continue to work with allied authorities to ensure effective air and missile defense. On restrictions or lifting of restrictions for the long-range strikes, let me say a couple of things. First of all, Ukraine obviously has the right to defend itself. And international law here is on the side of Ukraine, meaning that this right does not end at the border. And Russia is pursuing this illegal war, and that means that targeting Russian fighter jets and missiles before they can be used against Ukraine's civilian infrastructure can help save lives. The only country here that has crossed a red line is not Ukraine, it is Russia, by starting this war. At the same time, it is up to each ally to determine its support for Ukraine. And I know some of these discussions are ongoing, but in the end, that's not for NATO. That's up for each ally to decide what restrictions are there on the weapons they deliver to Ukraine.